Hey guys, I wanted to take a look at today because, I found it interesting mainly because it was really a difficult day to trade. It was a difficult day. It didn't really matter what sort of system you were using, the elite range bar system, or if you're using something else, some of the other systems that I've used myself. It's definitely a, summer trading type of day, and there wasn't all that much available for us. So I thought, go through it and point it out, just because it's important to realize that not every day do you make a ton of pips. Some days are definitely harder than others. Some days you can't lose, and you just keep racking up good pip totals. And then the important thing though is you get these sort of days, these difficult days, and it's important that you're able to minimize losses, that you're able to at least not hurt yourself. And you can see here that there was some alright pips available. Something that's certainly not anything to really complain about, but it wasn't any sort of huge day, but we also didn't hurt ourselves either. We didn't take a bunch of losses, didn't go searching for trades, just stuck to, by the rules, taking the trades that were available, and it just really wasn't much. We started off here where Frankfurt opened, we came up a little bit, and there wasn't any sort of entry for us by our rules. There wasn't anything here at the mid-Frankfurt hour, which often we do see some trades in here. It's kind of a key time for us, but there wasn't an available trade there. And the only thing, there was potentially a very, very aggressive long in here, but that would have been, I certainly wasn't interested because there really is no trend happening. So that was one to be avoided, but somebody could, if they were very aggressive, take that. But of course, if you're taking very aggressive entries, they're kind of a pro-style entry. And so you also have to be able to manage your risk very, very quickly. You have to be able to get out if it's not working out. So anybody who did take something like that would be getting out with, either, very small loss, certainly not a full one, but that's not something I really liked. The best one that was by the books here once it came down, the one that I took, was when price came down in here and we bottomed out right at 9 o'clock. We had some other indications that aren't on these charts in terms of what we're looking for, but we had a pretty ideal type 3 setup for us, and took that one long. And unfortunately, it didn't really go. I was looking for either this high or this high in here, but it wasn't going. Gave it about a half an hour as it kind of slowly creeped up, and then at this point I had had enough. There's some kind of reasons to get out there in terms of the momentum turning over, and so it just took the 7 pips that were available. Pretty tough morning up to that point, so wasn't going to try for any big pips, any big move when really nothing was happening. It's obviously one of those summer trading days where we're just going to kind of sit in this very, very narrow range, and it happens in August, and it shouldn't be too long before things start to open up again. Hard to say for sure with the European crises going on, but hopefully things will start to open up a little bit as we get closer to the end of the month here. Now, there was no trades anywhere in here, nothing that was valid, unfortunately. There was no short here as we came closer to 11 o'clock in London, and then we had what we often see when things don't move very much in the morning. A lot of times when 11 o'clock comes around, we can see these big moves where price just slips suddenly. And it's usually because there's kind of low liquidity at that time, and then things can slip through some of these barriers, some of these stop levels. And in this case, it really just kept going, and so we did have a nice type 1 setup in here for a potential re-entry in the trending move. And so that one was one definitely that I took, that you'd want to take. And it's into the 2300, so you got to be a little bit careful. But once it broke through that, things were generally pretty safe. Probably not going to take a full loss, and it just kept rolling and kept going and going all the way down here. And because it had been such a difficult morning, it was something to definitely take pips at the first sign that short-term momentum was kind of turning over, and that's exactly what I did here for 23 pips. And from that point, there just was not another trade available per the rules of the system. And it's important, like I mentioned before, when you're following rules and nothing comes up that fits those rules, you don't want to go searching for trades that aren't there, because that's really where you get yourself into trouble, is when you start trying to be aggressive, start getting bored, the market's not cooperating, and you start looking for trades, entering marginal setups. So you just want to look for the good ones and stick to that, especially on these difficult days. So There was no entries in here, nothing valid, as we just kind of swung back and forth, but they were all kind of slipped moves where, you know, price comes up and it doesn't give any sort of delay and it slips back down, you know, and those are very tough to make plays on. Like, yes, they do come off of some, you know, sort of clear levels, but it's still very, very hard to make any sort of play on those when there's so little volume happening in the markets. And that's pretty much all we did, is we chopped around through New York. We had one, you know, good move here to the downside, but like I said, no entries on that for us. And everything else was pretty much just chop. So by the time this sort of area had wrapped up and there was no trades, that was it for me. So really, you know, not a horrible day by any means, but definitely one of the more difficult ones that we've seen recently. So I wanted to post that just to give people an idea of you know, the varying conditions, that sort of thing. That it's not every day that you have a ton of trades. Yeah, there's some days you have 10 or more, and if you're doing multiple pairs, there can be more trades than you can possibly handle. And then occasionally you get a day like this, you know, where there's just really not that much happening. But you know, it's all kind of just part of being a trader. You know, you have to deal with that in terms of sometimes being busy and sometimes just trying to maintain your focus when things aren't moving too much. But if you can, there's still opportunity definitely available. So I hope you liked the video, and you can leave me a comment if you want in the YouTube comments there. All right, thanks. Bye.